Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are having an awesome start to your day. A great week out there so far. Got you an update on what is going to happen specifically for today, but we're also going to give you some updated information on the tropics. Some changes are coming in from overnight into this morning. And we just got a couple things to talk about. There's been some wild runs. There's a lot going on. There's a lot I think that's going to be going on, not just in the tropics, but just some pattern changes. I'm watching a big time trough, meaning a big time cold front that has a chance to sweep across portions of the country as we enter the last couple days of August into the first maybe a few days of September. This could bring a pleasant surprise or just a nice air mass to introduce September. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it more tonight because it kind of links into the tropics. It acts as kind of a steering current for these tropical systems that do try to get close, maybe in the long term, to the United States. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. When it's active, I make 2 videos a day. So I try to keep you guys updated as much as possible. I don't have the best, most appealing setup out there in the world. It's pretty traditional, but we do have a tight-knit family here, and I would appreciate you guys to join it, subscribe. We look out for one another here. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. Let's get rolling here. And just stick with me with this. We're going to talk about a lot about the tropics towards the end of the video and talk about that cold front. But briefly, well, not briefly, we really need to go over what's going on in our neck of the woods here in the lower 48, as there's going to be a big flooding risk again today. But it's scooting a little bit further east into Louisiana. Let's hope we don't get 10 to 15 inches of rain like we did in and around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But just stalled frontal boundaries. You got another one that's kind of sweeping eastward. Therefore, a lot of rain is actually falling right now in portions of Louisiana, southern Arkansas, into Mississippi, and will continue to do so. More rain will develop throughout the day. And other than that, you got a little bit of more of a stable, dry air mass over here. Some comfortable temperatures that you're waking up to across this portion of the country right here. But other than that, right now, not a ton going on. The actual storm prediction center right now for today over the next 24 hours, not predicting really any severe weather. There might be a strong storm or two, a severe storm or two, isolated in nature, but in general, a pretty quiet day as far as strong to severe storms. Excessive rainfall outlook. We watch for this area in Texas today, but I think the highest flooding risk will be in this moderate risk right here, which is at least a 40% chance to see flash flood guidance being met in this red area. So we need to watch out for this area. Louisiana, we'll zone in on this area here in a couple more panels here, and we'll talk about this. But I really think there will be flooding issues from Shreveport points east today. And we just need to really watch out for this area. In fact, we look at it right now, a lot of rain falling, especially east of Shreveport, into just the rest of northern Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, Jackson, some rain starting to move into your area. Then we're watching for southern Arkansas, but a lot of rain in Louisiana right now. And this will move out through the morning hours, but we're expecting for probably additional convection to form in this area to re-go over all the other areas of seeing rain this morning. So that's when we have to watch out because, you know, the soil recovers and tries to soak in as much as possible. And then in a couple hours, you just got more heavy rain that falls and it just can't absorb all this moisture. That's why you got these flood watches up right now. No widespread flash flood warnings or anything ongoing right now. But of course, you have the flood warnings where the rivers are overflowing their banks, things like that. So just be mindful. We'll zone in on this area here in a second. The National Hurricane Center update from the 2 a.m. update. Not a whole lot going on. They're still watching this first wave. It has been downgraded now back to a 20% chance of developing. But I mean, this isn't a big story right now. You still just gotta. It's pretty much going as expected here. We were expecting this to enter a highly unfavorable, highly hostile environment in the middle of the main development region, and it is doing so right now. And really, it's been in a pretty hostile environment its entire life since it's entered off the coast of North Africa into the Atlantic. So let's talk about each individual region today. So your eyes immediately go to this, all this rain in Louisiana. The HRRR model is verifying decently well, about as well as you can ask it to do for a model. We'll keep going throughout the morning hours, and we're getting into the early afternoon hours at this point. A lot of this widespread rain that's in Louisiana begins to shift into areas of Mississippi today. But then what we watch out for is, of course, this blob of rain keeps inching into southern Alabama later this evening. We watch for additional convection to form in this area. Elsewhere, I know we're not mentioning anybody else like the Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee. Pretty quiet day. Some isolated showers will form. Some storms in Florida will form as they always do in the summer. But other than that, there's not going to be a big weather story in these states today. The biggest risk and the highest weather that's going to occur today is going to be in Louisiana and surrounding sections of each state. So we watch today, and here we'll get a much closer look. This is Louisiana, this is eastern Texas, southern Arkansas, Mississippi. Going through here in time today, we're getting into about the lunchtime period. The rain begins to move out, but don't let your guard down yet or guard up here in these areas. More showers will form. And then some of these can be intense because what happens is maybe the sun pokes out. The atmosphere tries to recover. So some of these can actually be storm in nature. Therefore, they'll drop a lot more heavier rain, but certainly will be not quite as widespread as the rain that you're seeing this morning. But isolated tropical downpours along this odd frontal boundary that's kind of stretching across this area. And this will continue through the evening, the overnight hours. Additional rains could possibly form. This is getting into tomorrow morning. More rains. I think the heaviest rains probably scoot more east, more so in Louisiana, and more so into Mississippi. But, you see rains waking up the storms down near Houston. So this pattern continues. And then look at tomorrow. The flooding risk, I think there will be a moderate risk probably for this area down here in Louisiana, as this looks like it could get very, very wet in areas of Louisiana tomorrow. Further southeast into southern Mississippi. Rainfall just over the next 24 hours between now and around this time tomorrow morning. Some of this has probably already fell, but you got 3 to 4, as much as 5 inches of rain showing up. 3 to 4 inches of rain showing up in areas of west central Mississippi, and then southwest Mississippi, and then southern Arkansas. A lot of rain's going to fall. And just depending on how quick it falls, we saw it in Dallas-Fort Worth area. There was areas that saw 4 to 5 inches of rain in 1 hour. That is just a no-no. We don't need rain that fast. Maybe an inch every 2 hours is a nice soaking rain, but that was just way too fast yesterday, and we definitely had a flooding event in Dallas. The videos coming out of it, I don't think it reached like a catastrophe or anything like that. But there was, parts of the interstate, parts of the city underwater, not literally like skyscrapers underwater and stuff, but a lot of roads were flooded and stuff. We still in the Northeast got this lingering upper level low that's just very slowly. It's kind of trapped. It's like a cutoff low, so it just meanders. So expect some showers and storms in New York State, Vermont, all of New England today. Some of these could be strong to severe in nature, but I'm not expecting a widespread severe weather event. But definitely New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island could certainly see some storms all throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Down here in the south central U.S., we've already talked about Louisiana, but we can expect some more pop-up tropical downpours, even around the Dallas-Fort Worth area and the entire eastern half of Texas. But I think most of your rain fell yesterday. I don't think it's going to be very widespread in Texas today. I really think y'all get a break from the rain, but you're certainly going to see pop-up isolated downpours. The north central U.S., we got a little piece of energy swinging through here late this evening, so maybe the Dakotas, some very isolated storms are possible. And then as we get into the late overnight hours, these will begin to drift into northern Minnesota, and then maybe even the UP and Michigan as you're waking up tomorrow morning. Maybe you folks up there are waking up to some heavier rain showers, certainly possible, and just some rain showers down here in the northern plains. Temperatures as a whole, nothing too crazy, nothing well above average or well below average. Even though you got temperatures only in the 70s and 80s down here, this isn't your cool low humidity air mass. This is a tropical air mass with the high temperatures being held down due to just cloud cover and rain. But a pretty comfortable day in the Ohio Valley. You're starting to, I've talked to a lot of people in the Ohio Valley, and a lot of people say that you're really starting to feel the seasons change in the Great Lakes region, the Ohio Valley, around late August, and you're certainly getting to some overall some cooler days, only 70s and 80s with some relatively low humidity in the Ohio Valley. And then the Northeast will still continue to feel the effects of this cutoff low that will keep temperatures down. But the Southeast warming up, some 90s today. You know, we've been lucking up here in the Southeast lately. It's not been very hot. It's been very cloudy the last 7 or 8 days, and it's been very nice. All right, let's talk about the tropics. So let's take a look at the latest GFS, hot off the press. So first wave, here comes the first wave. First wave, not showing much love. Now we're looking into the second wave. The second wave starting to show some more attention on the operational GFS. At the same time, you got a piece of energy in the Caribbean that is now being showing a little bit more attention. But we'll zone in on that area here in a second. But now the latest GFS has almost a strengthening tropical depression, borderline tropical storm as we get into about 5 to 6 days out, right in the middle of the MDR. Remember, hostile environment right out here, so it's hard to believe this. But then that third wave is getting attention also. We still got to watch out for the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. Why we were watching out for the main development region. It's funny, all the models yesterday were all of a sudden trending down. Now overnight, they're trending back up into this morning. So we got to watch out for this. But moving forward here, I'm sorry, I had to stop the video. My little girls needed something. But moving forward here, I mean, you got to watch all kinds of things. Now we're starting to get about 7, 8, 9 days out at this point. But you got two, and I wouldn't say significant, but two strengthening systems with a second wave, and this is that third wave. And then we start to get 10 days out, and then you're watching some tropical moisture between Cuba and Florida. You're watching this, but it's hard to take these two little features super serious right now. It really is. The GFS is everywhere, and even the European has kind of been a little flip-floppy, I would say, the last 2 or 3 days. And you look at the European with that first wave, it really doesn't do anything. This is that second wave that we're kind of watching. Hey, let me make sure that's not the third wave. This is everywhere here. Here's the first wave with the European, and then it just doesn't do nothing. It's still right in here, getting blasted by shear from the Tut. Here comes the second wave right here. And then here comes a third wave that looks very vigorous, very strong, even over North Africa. But the second wave just pretty much gets dismantled by shear. And then here comes the third wave about 8 to 9 days out. It's a tropical storm already in the eastern main development region, and it's beginning to strengthen as it's entering the central main development region. It's probably a tropical storm, low-end hurricane at this point. So there's a little bit of noise on the op run. Moving forward here, we're also looking at the Caribbean. Now, there's something that's been kind of talked about. The icon kind of showed it first. So you kind of have to nod your head to the icon if something ever develops from this. But what we're looking at here is the 850 millibar vortices here. It's a great thing to look at when we're trying to find a piece of energy. We look at it in the winter too. I've showed it multiple times over the last 7 days. So we look at this, and this is getting into about this Saturday afternoon. You got this little piece of energy trying to form off the western end of this monsoon trough. And we haven't talked much on that, but this is a big factor when trying to get tropical development in the tropics. So you got a little piece of energy. What does it do? This is just the operational run. It just kind of falls apart, and then it kind of splits off, and you got a piece of energy right here. You got a piece of energy right here, but we're starting to get to about 9 days out. Hard to take it serious. If you back it up to the run before this, it had, let's back it up a little bit further. If we back it up to the run before this, about 6 days out, it had a strengthening tropical cyclone south of the Dominican Republic. So we're watching this. The European kind of shows a piece of energy down here too, but it's not as excited about it as the GFS. Neither model was super excited about it, but it's a new. But you see here, this is the European ensembles. This is the first wave that tries to redevelop in the Southwest Atlantic, but doesn't really get going. This is the second wave that's kind of dropped off on, I would say, of a signal. This is the third wave that is still very, the ensembles really like this third wave, but it's back in the timeline up. So it's hard to take it serious until it splashes down into the Atlantic, until it actually touches the waters of the Atlantic, and we can actually see what it does in the medium term. But here's this little signal right down here. We're watching this, and we'll kind of get a little bit closer. You got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, around 13 or so members out of 50. So that's pretty low. That's 25% of the members right here. I would say closer to, let's just say 20% of the members liking the idea of something getting going in the Caribbean. Now we watch for this area because I can tell you there's not a lot of environmental factors as far as the background nature of development that really would stop this from getting going. So it's something we watch because if anything can get going here, the waters are like bathtub waters. And we certainly need to watch out for. Another thing we're continuing to watch out for, and I'm kind of excited about because I'll be honest, I'll take a cold front over a tropical system. I'm itching to chase something. I'm not gonna lie, but that's just the weather nerd in me. That's just the passionate weather person in me that likes actually chasing these systems. But I like a good old-fashioned early season cold front too, and you certainly can see this continuously showing up on the GFS, and it's there on the Euro too. It just doesn't dig as much. And remember, these aren't temperatures, these are dew points. So dew points in the 40s and 50s and lower symbolizes a dry air mass, a stable air mass. 60s and 70s, you got more of a moist air mass, a tropical air mass. The reason I'm showing you this is because this could act as a steering current for any tropical systems that try to get close to the to the mainland of the U.S. And what these troughs do is they sometimes can, if it's an upper low, sometimes it can pull on these systems and pull it close depending on the feature. If it's a wholesale cold front, sometimes they will just push these tropical systems away from the eastern U.S. What a lot of people don't realize, and I know I'm going off here, and I need to hurry up and wrap this video up before I'm late for work, is an interesting tidbit here that a lot of people don't realize. And, we're coming up on the anniversary of it. It was a tragic day in America. We're coming up on what is the, I would say it's the 21-year anniversary of the 9/11 that happened. A lot of people don't realize is there was a significant hurricane off the coast of the Northeast. Like you could see it on satellite. It was a crystal clear blue day in New York City. And that is because a cold front had just worked its way through the Northeast and was actually pushing a tropical system off the coast out into the North Atlantic. There was one sitting right off the coast of the New England here. And a lot of people like to throw around theories. Well, what if this tropical system actually went into the New England, into New York City, and it would maybe 9/11 wouldn't have happened. But you can go into the what ifs until the cows come home. It's a tragic day. But in weather history, there was actually a hurricane off the coast of New York City, and the cold front was pushing it off. So interesting tidbit there. But anyways, guys, I'll have you an update on what's going on with the tropics. We have to watch today because today might be a trendsetter. It really could. But God bless all y'all. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all this evening.